We believe in cultivating curiosity and transformation that is rooted in profound love. The COVID-19 pandemic has irrevocably shaped how connections are formed in congregations across the United States and the world. The Church of the Larger Fellowship is committed to being a resource within Unitarian Universalism and beyond. From worship to covenant groups, from classes to pastoral care, and from our monthly magazine Quest to our online community hub and our letter writing ministry. We have found ways to build connection and community, even through the screen. We have been a model for ministry on the margins, providing services for isolated Unitarian Universalists, becoming a spiritual lifeline for our members in prison. The CLF supports the ministries of those who hold target identities: Blue, Black Lives of Unitarian Universalism; Trust, Transgender Religious UU Professionals Together; and Drum, Diverse Revolutionary Unitarian Universalist Multicultural Ministries, just to name a few. We know better than anyone how deep and meaningful connections can be formed, even from a distance. Unitarian Universalists have faced many challenges in these times, and we continue to persevere and fight for justice and equity for all people, especially during moments of crisis. We are proud to be a leader in this faith movement, and we invite you to get involved in our ministry. We strive to be a place where anyone from anywhere can find spiritual refuge anytime they need it. Welcome to the Church of the Larger Fellowship.
Hello.
Hey,
Hello, everyone.
What happened to the other video? What happened to the other video?
I don't know, but it's us now. I'm Aisha Hauser. My pronouns are she and her.
I was still in the mid cereal crunch.
And I'm in snowy Seattle. I don't love when Seattle cosplays winter and we actually get snow. We've had snow the last couple of days. It's not a lot. And I'm whining, having lived in both in New Hampshire, North Dakota, and Maine, where we used to get feet of snow. So me whining about 1 or 2 inches is shameful.
Entertaining.
It's entertaining. And so I am a middle-aged woman with salt and pepper, curly black hair that is somewhat wild. I have glasses on, and I'm wearing the keffiyeh, the symbol of liberation for the Palestinian people. DC, have you done with your cereal?
No, I'm not done with my cereal. But that's okay. I can still say
hi.
hi.
Michael. Okay.
So hi, I'm DC Fortune. I am in central Pennsylvania, on the ancestral lands of the Susquehannock and Lenape people, and I am a fat white, almost 60-year-old trans man with bald and gray hair and glasses. And did I hit all the things? Oh, he, him pronouns. I think that's it. Yep. And so. Yeah, and things here, we got a little bit of it. It came down almost as slush. You know, it's that stuff that just goes plop and freezes there, and then you can't scrape it up, and it's miserable. But yeah, so everybody at church today has said, you know what, we'd like to do everything by Zoom, please. And I'm like, yes, that sounds warm and dry. I like it. So yeah, so everybody's home. All right, Michael, how are you, dear?
I'm grumpy, but that's going to be the case for a while, I think. Greetings, everyone. Michael Tino, they, them pronouns, joining you from Peekskill, New York, in the Hudson Valley, just north of New York City, the land of the Kichwawan, Wappinger, and Munsee Lenape people. I am a fat, white, dude-ish looking person that is now like almost entirely bald. There's some salt and pepper on the side of my head, and wearing a green sweatshirt and an orangey red top. So I'm almost in Palestinian colors. I should have gone right for bright red, and then I would have been matching your keffiyeh there, Aisha. It is a snow day here in Peekskill, New York. Schools are closed. It is the first actual snow day of the school year. We've had a couple of delayed days,
Oh yeah.
but all of the snow we've had so far has been timed. Um, has been really well timed to end in enough time to plow the roads, or it's been on weekends until today, when it started snowing at 5 o'clock in the morning, and it's doing the splitty slush thing now, and will for a couple hours, and the roads will just be nasty for the entire school day, and then it will be 40 degrees overnight, and it and it'll melt. So hopefully there'll be school tomorrow, because it's not going down to 20 overnight to turn it all into a sheet of ice. But
we are getting close. I have my own personal feelings about snow after the new year. And anything that falls on St. Patrick's Day or later, I don't shovel. Just no. Just
you just let it go.
Mother Nature put it down, she put it up. Like it's gonna melt, by the middle of March. It's just no, because it's gonna come down heavy and wet and sloppy, and I'm not gonna go out there and give myself a heart attack or break my back for it all to melt in 2 days. Nope.
Well, Darby says it's
that's
80
Seattle's
and sunny in Southeast Texas. So thank you. Darby says it's 80 and sunny in Southeast Texas.
It's not,
so we can bask in that warmth.
Thanks.
If Chris were here, she would probably let us know that it's like 89 degrees and beautiful in Puerto Rico, in Borinquen. And Aisha and I are headed to Southern California next week, where it's going to be 50.
Right, because California's weather is broken.
It's all good.
I was there in November, and it was like 60. And I'm like, what? This is Southern California. It's supposed to be turquoise and sun all the time.
This is a retreat center that we're going to that is just south of Los Angeles, basically on the cliff overlooking the Pacific, which makes it lovely, but also 30 degrees colder than Los Angeles.
Wow.
Yeah, we got the
There's just this ocean breeze.
email that we have to be balmy. We have to actually bring things so we're not cold and shivering.
It's
So
that's not Harbin, huh?
No.
No, not Harbin Hot Springs.
So I'm grumpy. So far today, knock on wood, it is 12:08 p.m. Eastern time as I talk. My child has actually been really good about not interrupting my workday. I don't know if she's been as good about not interrupting my husband's workday.
Why did you say that out loud, Michael?
Well, he works from the kitchen.
No, about you. Like
what's the worst case scenario here, DC? My kid joins the view. Like, I'm sure people out there in Viewland would love to meet her.
Yes. But the minute you say something like that, you jinx it. It all goes sideways.
It's all right. It's all good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a lot to get to in terms of the world. But before we get to the wider world, I do want to kind of give a exciting update. President of the Liberal Religious Educators Association, Catherine Childs, has been announced as the worship leader for the Service of the Living Tradition. Now, it's not the first time a religious educator has done it, because Reverend Natalie Fenimore, also former president of Laredo, did lead that service, and Natalie's ordained. Catherine's the first time it's a non-ordained religious educator. So I am super proud as a non-ordained religious educator. It's so great. So that's going to be amazing. Catherine is an extraordinary human who is Canadian. Apparently, I don't think they're going to become the 51st state. I mean, I think like what?
I was really kind of hoping, they would have more electoral votes than California.
They will. I mean, even the right wingers in Canada want nothing. I mean, although I don't know. When I was there in the spring, there were people with Trump 2024 signs, and I said, in Canada, I said, don't you all know you can't vote for Like what? And Make America Great hats. Make America Great. So I don't know what's going on in this timeline. I don't. It's like I'm not. I'm trying to stay grounded.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't. I will say I did really well until basically the locked to the Treasury. I said, what?
Right?
Parents, 19 to 24-year-olds. It was hard not to 19 to 20. No shade
Oh my God! Call their moms.
to the. I love youth and young adults. I do. Their frontal cord lobe, whatever it is, isn't finished yet. Anyway, so I did well not panicking until then. Then I went, what? So anyway. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh. So do we want to talk about?
Are there other things in the Unitarian Universalist universe that we want to bring up before we get into the bullshit?
I don't know. The search season grinds on for ministers seeking congregations and congregations seeking ministers. I'm trying to think. I don't know. What else have we got? I mean, the thing about Catherine was just amazing.
Yeah, we'll have to have them on the View sometime.
Yes. I texted them yesterday. It was very, very fun. You know what we can talk about is how many impromptu demonstrations there were at state capitals, all 50 state capitals. Thank you very much. Yesterday. And it wasn't organized by a big group. It was just sort of like, hey, everybody show up and complain. And they did.
Well, and there's like plus and minus to that, right?
Right, yeah.
Because people showed up to these protests that they didn't know who was organizing. And that's like a big red flag in the world of protests and organizing.
So yeah, yes, Michael, 100,000%. I'm still on TikTok because apparently it's still around till it isn't. And somebody had the best take on this whole call your representatives. And I'm not saying not to. Please do whatever fills your spirit. But this person goes, this whole call, like they don't know what to do. This woman goes, it's giving. My husband's like, give me a list to go to the store because I don't know what to get. And it's like, you live here too. You don't know what we need. Like, it's kind of like that. Like, so you mean to tell me so two things. One is the representatives don't know already that this is bananas and batshit. And the ones who are out making speeches to the people standing in front of the Treasury, no, boo, get inside and you have way more power and leverage than anyone who's marching. Fuck, don't give a fucking speech. Leave the speeches to us. We can fucking do the speeches. You go in there and do what you fucking need to stop this bullshit. But don't come out here and do speeches. Like what? So you can call
12-13 Asia.
12-13, yeah. Our reps don't know what the fuck to do. I mean, like, I don't
they know. They just don't believe that people care.
They should care. They should care.
Well, they don't believe anyone's paying. All right, let's put it more honestly. They believe they can get away with it.
No. I know Musk. Our representatives who know what's going on is bullshit. That the people in power right now in the executive branch are hoping to get away with everything. They want a monarchy. Whatever. I'm saying we have 2 Democratic senators from Washington State. They're not fucking freaked out. I need to call them and say, can you please do something? Like, that's my point.
Well, and so here's what I think. I think, like, they're doing things. Like, right now they're still filibustering what's his fuck, the nominee for the Office of Management and Budget, who wrote Project 2025, right? And they've been filibustering him all night, which means like they need a like rotating cast of senators to keep talking. So like I think that they're doing that, but I think they need to be pushed into more. And someone asked me like, oh well, they're having press conferences outside USAID, and I'm like, well, no, they need to demand to be let into the building
Mm-hmm.
and
Yeah.
arrested if they're not.
Mm-hmm.
And the sight of U.S. senators being arrested is what's going to mobilize the public.
Yeah.
Like they have to like these are 100 people of privilege. Like whatever their identity is, whatever their background is,
Yeah.
these are 100 people of extraordinary
That's right.
privilege who
That's
need to
right.
put their asses on the line,
Yeah.
right? Because when Congress was debating the Americans with Disabilities Act, disabled people threw themselves on the steps of Congress and
That's
put their
right.
bodies
Yep.
literally put their bodies on the steps in the way of people to prove that they needed access to buildings. And so I feel like we need to push these folks into the next level.
Yeah.
And so call your representatives is to push them into the next level of action, because there is only so much they can do as the minority, but there are things that they can do. And my favorite what is it called? Skeet now? Things on Blue Sky. Um, it's like they were tweets on Twitter. They're skeets on Blue Sky. Um, I'm not on Twitter or X or whatever. I left that fuck shit behind. But I'm on Blue Sky. And my favorite that I've seen is from Jorts the cat.
George!
Jorts the cat is on Blue
Mhm.
Sky.
Oh my God.
The
That's reason enough
famously
for me to go
filthy
right
orange
now.
cat. And Jorts the cat has an organizing strategy for Democrats to put sand in the gears of everything. And like I'm
What
like,
is it?
if George the cat gets it, then like it's like fuck everything up. Stop it. Stop
Yes.
the votes. Like make it impossible to get business done.
Yes.
Like put sand in their gears, crap on their carpets.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
George is a
Right.
cat after all, right?
Right. Okay. Yeah. Hairball on the desk. There we go. Yeah. But
What else is ours to do? I mean, I feel like there's definitely we're saying to folks like get to know your neighbors by name. Go to your food bank, either if you need something or you can help, either way, because food banks can be community centers depending on where you are. I mean, I'm in Seattle, so there are several around in Seattle, but I feel like I don't want people to. I know that there's been going around like "Do Not Obey," the On Tyranny book, which do not obey, and also we have agency. Like the people who are like, "Oh my God, we're toast." People are surviving under authoritarian regimes. Like it's not. I don't want us to give up who we are. I mean,
well, like one of the examples that I used recently in a service was from Chile, where the authoritarian regime literally made people disappear.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, and it was horrible, and it was traumatic for the entire population, but people survived it by forming small groups.
Yes.
By forming groups of people that they checked in with all the time.
Yep.
To, like, make sure, like, if someone disappears me, there should be someone who notices that I am disappeared, right? And who makes a racket about it. So, forming those small groups, I'm intensely, interested in the local politics of it in a small suburban city where, there are some conservative folks, and they're not the majority, but like half of our city is Latino immigrants, and ice was seen in the Walgreens last week, and the mayor announced that the city police department would not be cooperating with ICE except unless ICE had a criminal warrant, a judicial warrant for a crime.
Right.
That someone had actually committed a crime.
Yeah.
And a judge had signed off on that. That was the only way that our police would do that. And so she needs cover. My mayor, the first Black woman mayor in the city's history, right?
Mhm.
In this,
Yeah.
right in
Yeah.
the city's 400-year history.
Wow.
For the first Black woman, she needs political cover and support.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Able to make
Yeah.
statements like that. My school district, I have a kid in the school district, so I'm an active parent volunteer, and the school district needs support and cover when they say we will not let ICE into our schools, so that you can send your children to school and not fear that they're not going to come home, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our school district needs support and cover, and so I can help provide that.
Yeah.
But and that's the way I take care of my neighbors, because my neighbors are the folks who are afraid to send their
Yeah.
kids to school.
Can you imagine how corroded the soul of this nation is? That we've always done it. I'm now gonna I was about to say, which is something we've done since the inception of this nation, how we so willingly sacrifice our children. We wouldn't do anything about school shootings.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to let ICE agents, federal law enforcement agents, go into school to take children. What the actual fuck? But this is yeah.
This is who we are. Don't say we're better than this. This is who we are.
I never said that. When have you ever heard me say that we are better than this?
No.
Literally not once in the 7 years of this show. Don't get it twisted, my boo. Absolutely
No. But I can hear people saying we're better than. No, we're not. No, we're not. Actually,
no, we are not.
No, this is absolutely who we are and who we've been.
I want to read.
Now, do you want to change that or not? Is the question.
Can you all still see me? I'm going to my Facebook page only because I want to read what I posted today. And I shared someone else's, Leanne Liskins. If you don't remember anything for Black History Month, remember this. The United States could have always had a better future, but chose not to because that would mean Black and Indigenous people would get ahead every single time. Everything. A better education system, free daycare, a fair judicial system, labor protections, food security, housing security, care for our elders, a better healthcare system, even abundant cannabis, everything. But this country, to be clear, every single time there was an opportunity to support the masses, those in government said no 100% of the time because they did not want to have a system that benefited
everyone,
descendants of enslaved Africans and Indigenous people and people of color.
Yep.
So it's all. So when I talk about reparations, it's because we have to want for every single one of us to be treated as human beings who deserve to thrive because we exist.
Right? Yeah. Because you've got a pulse. That's all you need. You should have dignity.
That's all you need. Nobody has to work for a living. Nobody has to justify. Elephants and lions and tigers and bears work for a living. They get to hunt, eat, and nap. Woohoo. Yeah, we got some good comments. I don't know if you want to highlight any of them, LJ. Hello,
yeah,
LJ.
Nicole, this is one of my favorite things to jump on. Nicole Thibodeau says we could have had Publix pools in the 1960s. And actually that's a thing. That's a thing. And I forget her name, but she wrote a book and it was called The Sum of Us, the Sum, S-U-M, of Us. And it talked about how backyard pools became a thing in the 1960s. in part because, like, cities across the country had these amazing public pools, like public parks, right? It was a place where you could go and cool off in the summertime and swim and splash and blah, 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 blah. And when they had to allow non-white people in, they filled the pools with dirt.
Right. And the white people put pools in their backyards.
Yep, the white people moved to the suburbs and put pools in their backyard.
You know, it's interesting. So the small city that I live in has a public pool and has for forever, that we go to in the summer, and we love our city pool. And the reason that city pool still exists is that there was a local civil rights
We
leader
are the church of the larger.
who insisted. Oh, well, we are the church of the larger fellowship, but there was a local civil rights leader who went to the local public schools and was well known in the city, who said, no, like, this is the public pool and we can all be in it together. And so the city didn't close it down. The city didn't fill it with dirt or cement or acid or whatever, and made it an integrated pool. And it is today. And like, as a white family, it's a place where I can bring my child and she can play with the entire, spectrum of humanity, and have that be normal. And it's really Nicole says we pause for station identification. Yeah, sometimes. There are some new settings here on the platform that we use that make it really, really easy to start a video. Like really, as you can see, really super easy. Sometimes a little too easy.
That's hilarious. I think this country one of the things I learned in therapy is something called shadow work, which is really learning kind of the things in my life that caused me harm at any point, like childhood, adolescent, whatever it is, and understanding how that got me to where I am now, right? This country does not have a shared reality, nor tell the whole truth about its founding and its present, its past and its present, right? And that's been a big part of the problem. In order to maintain this deeply unequitable, oppressive system, the lie of slavery ended, meritocracy, like there's a lot of lies we tell ourselves. And really the result of this election was a significant portion of this country wanting to hold on to that lie and that story. This week in social media, as someone who very much, as you all know, has been part of the pro-Palestinian, anti-genocide movement.
Right?
Seeing folks post after Trump's announcement about Gaza, seeing folks post basically it was just so cruel. Like, oh, are the folks happy now who thought, Trump would be better for Gaza, and now, he's going to perform ethnic cleansing? I'm sorry. We wouldn't have gotten here if Biden hadn't actively supported and sent billions and billions and billions of dollars for 15 months. I voted for Kamala. Let's be clear. No one thought Trump would be better, but it was the height of cruelty to tell people who were begging, pleading, please stop this genocide. Please stop sending bombs. Please stop sending money, to tell them, no. You still have to vote for the people who are actively funding this because the other guy's worse. I've never believed that Democrats and Republicans are the same in general. However, when it comes to our policy in the Middle East, particularly, you say there's no light between them. That is the same policy. So the policy that we have right now is exactly the policy that was the Biden administration's. Do not blame how anyone fucking voted, because it shouldn't have come to 2025. And all it was a flip of the switch that our democracy turns into, I don't know what the fuck's going on in Washington right now, a frat house. Or that's not even a frat house, because it's a Christian right, evangelical, bring on the end of days because Jesus is coming. So do not blame how people who wanted to vote their conscience. It was appalling. When I saw you do it, I'm like, are you all fucking kidding me? You're going to blame how the height of fucking cruelty, to have people say, oh, now you like basically a guy. I don't even,
So I do think that there is actually a difference between the Biden administration's policy and the current administration's policy. Like, both of them are unjust and both of them are unacceptable. And I'm with you. I had someone say that to me yesterday. Like, oh, I bet those people are really happy now. And I took them on because I had to in order to be in a right relationship with like you and with everyone I know who is, including myself, with right relationship with my own morality around genocide. But I said, everyone I know, and I know a lot of people, voted for Kamala Harris even though they didn't want to, because they knew that Trump would be worse. Right? Everyone I know. And this person said, well, they weren't excited about it. I'm like, you do not get extra points in the election for voting excited. You don't get extra points for voting excited. I said, it is a convenient and purposefully spun narrative, right? That blames people of color for this fuck shit. It is purposefully spun when the blame rests squarely on the shoulders of the white voters who actually voted for him and put him in office, right? And it's because of the way racism works, it's easier to spin a narrative that blames people of color for Kamala Harris's loss than it is to blame white people for Donald Trump's win.
That's right.
And that's the bullshit that I feel like needs to be called out. Like, no, like people spun that narrative on purpose so that there would be a scapegoat, right? That so that there would be like people were already starting to spin that narrative in 2000, preparing for Joe Biden to lose in 2000, right? While black women are not super excited about Joe Biden, I'm like, they're fucking voting for 99.5% of black women are voting for Joe Biden. Like, don't. And then he won, and nobody could trot out that that racist bullshit. But they were starting to spin that narrative before the 2000 election. We all remember it. Like, they were getting ready to blame black women if Donald Trump was reelected in 2020. And like, so they spun a narrative and got ready to blame people who didn't believe in the genocide of Palestinian people, who were primarily people of color, but not entirely.
No, and I mean, and white people by 70%. I mean, if you look at the breakdown, but it's not even close. This back real quick in terms of the difference in policy. There is no world that Donald Trump could have said this week. First of all, America's not colonizing Gaza. Let's be clear. I mean, that's not going to happen. But okay, even him saying it could have only happened because it's rubble. That is not a statement he could have made if the and here's another thing that's true. ICE agents were ready January 2020, 21, 20, the day after inauguration. ICE agents were ready to go in everywhere. How could that happen if the previous administration didn't help? Now, the Democrats were into fascism light, we're into white supremacy light, like we'll take care of most of you. We still are going to have for-profit prisons. That happened under Clinton. Militarizing the police happened under Clinton. So it's not that we don't have issues, but the Democrats also didn't want complete upheaval. So, okay, in that respect, again, voted for Kamala. I did not vote third party, and I haven't missed a presidential election since the day I turned 18. So I'm not at all going to argue they're exactly the same. And we still don't, what we don't have in this country, maybe that's one of the things that can come out of party that understands how to fight this. Because as we started the show, for the Democrats to just make fucking speeches and not outside with us, it's like, let us talk, buddy, go inside and get the fucking Capitol Police. I don't know, honey, just go do something different. Let us get this. So it kind of, I mean, it would be funny if it wasn't so fucking dangerous. But it is both. I mean, I have laughed this week when I didn't understand somebody on TikTok. I opened TikTok, I don't know, one of the days this week. And this woman, the parent thing wasn't mine. This woman's like, I want to know their parents' names. And I'm like, who's she talking about? And then I look at another TikTok and I'm like, it's these kids who have the key to the treasury. And I'm like, what? And I start laughing. But then I'm like, they have the key to the treasury or whatever the fuck. I'm saying key, but whatever the word is, like trillions of dollars in addition to all of our information. And we have senators out there talking to us. No. Go fix this. How are our mechanisms so fucking weak that basically it's a flip of a switch? I mean, am I making sense, or am I completely like not?
You're absolutely making sense. And so, like, I'll trace, I believe that there is a difference, and the difference is between absolutely immoral and the worst thing the world has ever seen, right? Like what difference really is that? So I think about in the last 4 years, there was a time at which while Biden was president, Jared Kushner, son-in-law of Donald Trump, was in Israel talking with real estate developers about the beachfront developments he wanted to put in Gaza. Yep. Right? That was in the Biden administration. Those talks were happening already. All right. So this notion, I mean, the president has a lot of things wrong with his cognitive world. And he didn't just make that up yesterday.
He did not just make it up.
He didn't just make it up yesterday. And when Jared Kushner was in Israel talking to real estate developers, the Biden administration should have stopped him. Right.
Yes.
So I am backing you up, Asia, because they didn't. They said, "Oh, that's just pie in the sky bullshit." Well, it might be. It might still be, but it's not something that the president. It's not something that the current president made up yesterday. Now, what I'm finding interesting is how fast they're backtracking on what he said. Because apparently even Bibi Netanyahu didn't know what he was about to say.
Nobody knew.
And they're backtracking fast, which means that there is some level of resistance that forces him to change course. Right? There is some level of resistance that forces him to change course.
Yeah.
And that resistance has to come from Republicans.
It has to. He doesn't give a fuck about us.
And so
it has to.
So when I say call your representative, I mean I have to call my Republican representative, MAGA Mike, and say, I need you to stop the coup. right? Like, I
please.
need you to
Please and
stop
thank
this
you.
coup.
Please and thank you.
Um,
Please stop the coup.
like, I know that you support all of his other fuck shit, but stop the coup, at least, right?
So I just tried to share this really cool video that came across my Facebook feed this morning, and it's a Black woman speaking beautiful truth and power and magic, and she's clearly frustrated with white people saying, "Oh my God, don't you realize you're next?" And she's like, "Honey, we were first. We've always been first. We've always been the first ones to die. We've always been the first ones to get picked on. We've always been the first ones to suffer. And you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna do what we always done. You know, you give us the ass end of the hog, we'll make chitlins. You give us corn with nothing else to do with it, we'll make cornbread. We will survive and thrive no matter what. And we don't need your help to do it." And it was this beautiful piece of truth that I sort of want to, like, I wish I could take it out and in a 3-dimensional form and just sort of smack some people with it, you know, be like, listen to this. And I tried to share the link and it didn't work. And now I'm mad at my computer and Facebook and whatever, but it was on Instagram and it came across Facebook, but now I have to find the real thing, the real link. So if I'm looking vague or more so than normal, it's because I'm searching other websites while we're doing this. Okay. I'm going to go do that thing.
Just mute because we can hear you clanking.
Okay. Hang on.
I love you. I love you.
Yeah.
I think one of the things that I've been wanting. Okay. Oh, I want to give everyone a resource. So Cole Arthur Riley is a Black woman writer who wrote a book called Black Liturgies. She I'm going to look at my app because I just downloaded this app called Ritual. It's the Ritual app. And yes, Black Liturgies. And on the Ritual app, she has 10 meditations that I've been going to sleep to them this whole week every night because they're so good. They're only 15 minutes. It's like going to church for 15 minutes. So she does a breathing exercise, a meditation, and then a reflection. And they're so good. I'm going to read you and it's called the Ritual app. I mean, the app itself has a lot of meditations, but I want to, wait, I changed phones. And so now I have to, I'm going to read you some of them because they were so good. And Cole Arthur Riley is an extraordinary, gifted person. So, library, let me see what the 10 are. So I think one of the things we can say to folks is, so the wait, no such force. The green human, learning from silence is the first one. Seeing wonder and beauty. I'll keep having to turn them off because I don't know how to look at it without turning it on. Cultivating friendship. Embracing conflict. So there's 10 of them. They're 15 minutes each, and it's on the Ritual app. And I absolutely highly recommend doing things every day, even if it's for 5 or 10 minutes, where you ground yourself in your body and regulate your nervous system. I have had to do this so much, and remind myself that I have community near and far, that we're going to do everything we can, and we're going to work through this, and we're going to get through this, and we're going to thrive, not just to survive, not just to beat the other guy. We're going to affirm everyone's humanity. But I will tell you, it has not been easy, and I've worked to, connect to myself. So do what you can. I mean, to everybody listening to this, to regulate your nervous system and connect to yourself so that I've been really trying hard not to just hear the barrage of, because what is it, shock and awe? Like that's the point of all these just barrage. So yeah, so please look that up. It's on the Ritual app. Staying Human, Cole Arthur Riley.
Nice.
Oh,
Well, and you know, the point is that if we react to every piece, we quickly get overwhelmed and we quickly burn out. And they want us overwhelmed and
yes.
burnt out. Right? So
Yes.
hold on to the piece that's
Yeah.
yours too. You know, I think I've decided that my piece is protecting federal funds for and protections for special education students, because like that's the one I can get mama bear about, because my kid needs them. Right? So when he comes after the Department of Education, he's gonna hear from me. And I have to get my representatives prepared to
Yeah.
stop him from coming after the Department of Education. You know,
A
that
thousand.
you can't overturn the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act by executive order. It is an illegal executive order. Now a court has to say so. And Goddess help us all when these things make their way to his stacked Supreme Court. But you know, the judge in Washington State that enjoined his executive order freezing grants was not a liberal judge. He was appointed by Ronald Reagan. he's 86, but he was appointed by Ronald Reagan.
Yeah.
And he's like, nope, this is blatantly unconstitutional. Next.
Yeah. Absolutely not.
So, you know, even conservative judges, like some of them, like I just fear when it gets to the Supreme Court, because the amount of sheer corruption that is involved in that court right now is.
Do you see what's her name?
Well, that's
No. You see what's her name got sworn in as Attorney General?
Oh my God!
By Clarence
Yes.
Thomas.
Yeah, Pam Bondi.
Yeah.
Who?
Pam Bondi.
Oh.
But I sort of thought that was the job of like the Chief Justice.
No, you can pick any judge or magistrate or anything to swear someone.
Really? Okay. All right. Yeah. Well, she picked Thomas.
I'm surprised he didn't pick him to inaugurate him. Because you can pick any Supreme Court justice can swear in the president too.
Right, but then he'd have had to like accept authority from a black man.
Or Brett Kavanaugh. He could have picked Brett Kavanaugh.
Yep.
I think we do. I mean, I think, you know, don't forget the Supreme Court ruled that black people were 3/5 of a person. So, like, we've had shitty Supreme Courts before. This isn't the first time.
The Supreme Court has ruled consistently since 1821 that the doctrine of Christian discovery is legal case law in the United States, right? Yeah. Including, you know, Ruth Bader Ginsburg, who was the last Supreme Court justice to cite the doctrine of Christian discovery as legal case law in the United States. So put that in your pipe and smoke it.
That was Oneida, right? In New York. Yeah, Oneida versus New York.
City of Sherrill versus Oneida. Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. Exactly. So we have to also know that all of it is stories we tell ourselves, even money. So we can, I mean, what's interesting to me is, and I keep kind of have an existential exercise every now and then. This is what I do with my free time. Like, we could tell ourselves a story of care, of a society that wants better for each of us and thriving. So there's something, I do think we cannot underestimate how the end of times here sooner than later, because they do learn to get to go to heaven for eternity. I think that's much more of the story of Project 2025 than people are saying out loud. And I think it's important to name that so that we can be the counter to that. Like, I think that we're underestimating how much of a Christo theocracy is there's that desire to be put in place. I don't think it's a small thing. So I mean, I would love for us to start. I know we do it at the CLF and Unitarian Universalist congregations. We tell different stories and to affirm and lift up that humanity can do things differently, can expand our imaginations for good, for well-being, for thriving. It doesn't have to always read.
We got really grim, didn't we?
Well, it's grim out there, DC.
Yeah, no, I know.
So,
well, I mean, it isn't. It's finally, like, here's what's interesting. It is grim, but for a certain large segment of this country, it's always been grim. It is now more grim for more people. But if you were like the Red Summer after World War I, when white Klan people, white nationalists saw Black men in U.S. uniforms who fought overseas, they murdered them. That's fucking grim. Lynchings were grim. So, yeah, it's grim now, but it's never not been grim for a whole group of people, right? So now, because it's grim for more people, maybe it's maybe this is popping the blister. Maybe this is our chance as a country to do something different. Maybe we needed this. We don't need it. I hate that so many people are going to be hurt. And my cause is the trans community. I have been wanting to be I don't like to call myself an ally because I feel like I want to know that I'm supporting and helpful, because when they are deliberately and have been for years going after a group of people who just want to live and thrive and be who you are, I have been like, So I think the grimness, because it's impacting more people, this is now our opportunity to do something different.
And it's interesting. I'm sort of like, my brain is splitting over this, because like I think all of these things that he's doing are blatantly illegal.
Yep.
Right? Like the birthright citizenship stuff is blatantly unconstitutional. It's like right there in the 14th Amendment to the Constitution, right? That anyone born in the United States is a citizen, right?
Period.
It's like right there in the 14th Amendment. And people are like, foreign aid, right? They've shut down the U.S. Agency for International Development, and people are dying, right? People are already dying in Uganda because of this. People are already dying in places around the world because the U.S. is pulling out of the World Health Organization, right? So I think, like, okay, you can't shut down the Agency for International Development legally unless you pass an act of Congress repealing the 1961 act that created the agency, right? So like, I'm like, oh, it's all illegal. It's all illegal. Shutting down PEPFAR, the president's emergency plan for AIDS relief, which has saved millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of lives all around the world. It's like, it's in the budget, like a budget that was passed by Congress and signed by the president. It's a program that was developed in the George W. Bush administration. Like, this is not even a Democrat, like, liberal right-wing thing. It's illegal. And I think, well, it's illegal. And I'm like,
they don't care.
Well, they don't care. But two, like, what if it were legal? So much shit has been legal in our country's history. Right? So much shit has been legal. There was a time like that redlining was legal.
Yep.
right? There was a time that slavery was legal. There was a time when Asian people were excluded from the ability to immigrate into the United States because they were Asian, right?
That was
And
legal.
it was legal because it was so like, as a minister, that's illegal is breaking my brain.
Right.
It's breaking my brain
Yeah.
because just because it's legal doesn't mean it's moral.
Because we have a moral foundation. And the people that we're seeing do this shit now have neither a moral foundation nor any sort of respect, well, any sort of self-respect. They don't care about shame. They cannot be shamed. They are unashamed of being cruel. They are unashamed of being inhumane.
The
They
cruelty
just
is the
don't
point. They
care.
enjoy it.
Yeah, exactly. So I spent a lot of time this past week shouting at Rachel Maddow on the TV.
I'm not a fan.
In part because, well, she and a bunch of folks think that saying it's illegal, you can't do that, will stop them. It won't.
It's breaking my
It
brain.
never has, and it's not going to start now. Some of y'all didn't grow up with psychopaths, and it shows because you don't know how to plan for a psychopath reaction, and this is what that is. I don't give a fuck about laws. I don't give a fuck about morality. I don't believe in your heaven, your hell, or your God. I'm here to make myself fat, and that's it. And I don't care who I have to eat or kill or walk over to do it. And God bless the naive and the innocent and the good-hearted for believing that humanity is better than that. But there are some of us who know it's not. People who've grown up with narcissists, people who've grown up with psychopaths, people who've grown up with generational abusers.
I will say I think the overwhelming majority of humanity is better than that. It's just that there are some people.
Oh, Nicole, thank you. It's Calvin Ball. You remember Calvin Ball?
If viewers are confused about that, Calvin Ball was a sport made up by Calvin of Calvin and Hobbes, and the rules constantly changed.
Right, but you had to have the ball to change the rules.
That's right.
And sometimes it was a ball, and sometimes it was a rock, and sometimes it was a broom, and sometimes it didn't matter. It was like, I've got the thing, I'm making a new rule. Yeah. So, oh my God.
So they've got the keys to the Treasury Department, and they're making the rules.
Yep.
But like that's the way American government has always been run.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I think it's Asia's point. Right?
Yep.
It's like you got the ball, you make the rules, and if you're a sociopath and you've got the ball, the rules get exponentially more cruel.
Yep.
Yeah. And the cruelty is the point.
The cruelty is their joy. Their perverse joy.
Well, I don't know that they feel joy. I think it's more the superiority complex and the supremacy. I actually don't think they feel joy because I think people who can access joy within themselves don't dehumanize others and don't just treat people like they're commodities. So I don't believe that.
Maybe not joy.
I think
there's some sort of analog.
I don't think
there's some sort of analog to joy. like
perverse pleasure or something, or like.
I think it feeds definitely something, but I think it feeds greed is insatiable. Mm-hmm. And I know we have like 1 minute, but Josh Johnson, who's a Black comedian, who's brilliant and clever. And one of his bits about Elon Musk was, he said Elon Musk has built like all the money in the world, right? He still made a fake Twitter account to defend himself, right? Because that money,
he's an egotist.
Well, because it doesn't make you cool. It doesn't give you a thick skin. It doesn't let you have friends who like you for you. Like the human need for connection is still there, no matter how much fucking money you have, because money's made up, right? He's not sitting in a room like Scrooge McDuck with
No, he
like
gets off on the
gold around him.
attention.
Yeah.
Well, he gets, because that's it,
No.
and it's not going to fill the hole. So it's
Yes.
like, and somebody pointed out he could have rebuilt LA with all of his money and gotten good attention, but for whatever reason, that's not his inclination. Well, I know why, because he comes from apartheid South Africa. Anyway, so we have to end, but we will be talking about
He
this
could
again.
literally end world
So-
hunger with all of his money. I mean, he's
Right.
got almost
All of
$1
them.
trillion.
Right.
Fucking broligarchs. Like, we needed that fucking
Right.
word.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, and I
What
want
happened when like Paul McCartney was the richest guy in the world? You know?
was
He was.
I
He was.
wanted
He had
to
more money
show,
than Oprah for a while.
This is a good point to end on, Darby Lockridge. We've been complacent in allowing this for so long because we assumed good intentions. Say
Thank
that.
you.
Now we're living with the consequences of our inaction. Amen and ashe.
Uh-huh.
So, beloveds, next week we are bringing you a review of a show on our CLF Church of the Larger Fellowship's prison ministry that we think is really important for you to watch, about the ways in which our incarcerated beloved are treated and isolated and dehumanized every day, and what we can do about it as the Church of the Larger Fellowship. And we will be back in 2 weeks with our new co-host, CLF Learning Fellow Donté Hilliard, who is joining with you as the fourth member of the co-hosting team, while Chris steps back for a little bit to focus on other priorities. So we're excited to welcome Donté. Y'all don't miss 2 weeks, because Donté is like,
You're in for a treat.
Donté is more fun than all of us combined. So
That sounds amazing and absolutely horrifying.
Yeah.
No, it's the best.
So
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody. Be well.
Thank you for joining us. Special thanks to those of you who give generously to this ministry. It is because of you that this ministry is possible. You can click the link in the description to give now, or visit clfuu.org/give for more information. We hope you will join us next week for another episode of